Hey friends, it's Wendy Moore, and today I'm going to share with you one of my very favorite salad dressings. And I had done a cooking with oils class a while ago, and I did some research on salad dressings, and I had already been making some of my own, but this is what drove me over the edge to decide that I wanted to absolutely only consume something that I'd made in my own kitchen from ingredients that I could pronounce and that I knew the sourcing of. So today we're going to be using olive oil. We're also going to use balsamic vinaigrette, and I've got some stone ground mustard and some liquid herbs and spice that we're going to use to give it additional flavoring. It's really easy to do, but first of all, I wanted just to tell you a few of the things that I found out, and I'm going to have to refer to my notes because there's some big words in here, and I will forget some of the things that I want to make sure that you're aware of, because we can't do better if we don't know better. And until we look into things, we just take it at face value that if it's on the store on the shelf, it must be safe for us. But there's so many reasons why it's not good for us. So what I'm going to share with you today about the ingredients in salad dressings, they're listed as I talk about them in the order of the most benign to the most disturbing. So the first things that I'm going to talk about are mildly things that you don't want, and then it's going to get down to the real stuff you really don't want. And I want you to remember, just because a dressing has a label that says it's natural, don't assume it's clean. Flip that bottle over and read the back of the ingredients panel. Start learning how to read your labels and what to look for. So the first thing you're going to look for is water. Huh? What? Say what? Water? Well, it's often the first ingredient, and it's always the first ingredient in a diet dressing. And the water itself is benign. But unlike oil, which absorbs the flavors of other ingredients, water does not absorb flavorings. So that means that flavor is often added. It's not natural, it's made in a lab, and even when it says natural flavor, it can be made in a lab. No regulation on that. The next thing is canola oil or soybean oil. They're both cheaper and less flavorful than an olive oil, and they're usually the dominant ones in our commercial dressings. So if the label says made with extra virgin olive oil, it means that EVOO is in the dressing, but it's not the primary oil. Sad to think how they're duping us. Xanthan gum or food starch is added as a thickener, which lends a gummy taste and a texture. You've probably all had that dressing and you've picked up on it but didn't know why. MSG is a flavor enhancer, and it's believed to be safe for most people, but it's so powerful at enhancing flavors that it makes everything it touches taste fake. Had that too. Now, fat-free, that's not an ingredient. That's a claim on the label that should serve as a warning sign to avoid it. Because fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, and we find that in our spinach and in our carrots, they need fat molecules to be absorbed. So no fat means no absorption of vitamin A. Now, a fat-free dressing usually contains more sugar, more thickeners, and more flavorings. So those are things I would definitely want to avoid. Polysorbate 60, that's an emulsifier that keeps the ingredients together. Potassium sorbate, that's a preservative. Now, your homemade dressings will last in your refrigerator for several months in a cold fridge, but they will not keep for months in a warm warehouse. So that's why they add them in there. Natural and artificial flavors. If flavors of any kind are listed on that label, run. It means that the taste you're tasting is coming from these lab-created flavors and not from the pure ingredients. Why? It's less expensive. There's less variables for spoilage. It's to their advantage. It's not to you, the consumer's advantage. Artificial sweeteners, those are common in low-calorie and sugar-free, oops, don't want to be knocking over the ingredients, and sugar-free dressings. You want to avoid that. If you want a lower calorie dressing, use a lower quantity of dressing, or make your own, and you know exactly what's going in it. EDTA, it's a chemical. It neutralizes bits of metal. that are in the dressing from the factory's pipes and machines used in its production. It's added so that the metal does not deteriorate the ingredients as they spend their long shelf lives together. What? If that is not alarming that we're adding chemicals, they're doing it to destroy another chemical and ensure that our dressing has a long, healthy life. I'd much rather make a dressing every couple of weeks or every week even than to be taking that in unknowingly and causing color. Now here's the biggest offender, caramel color. We encounter it so often we don't even give it a thought. Colas have it, so does cheap maple syrup, steak sauce, many balsamic vinegars, brownish colored salad dressings, many breads, and packaged baked goods, and almost all brown liquids sold on a shelf. The problem is it's toxic. It contains a contaminant, 4-methylimidazole, that's known to cause cancer. California officially listed it as a toxic ingredient as of January 2011, and there's a proposal to ban it or require labels to state that it's known to be toxic. Small quantities aren't going to harm you. The problem is, meaning anyone who consumes brown colored packaged or bottled foods, we consume it in such frequency that even small quantities over years accumulate in our body and cause problems as it turns into larger quantities. So let's end that cycle and let's make fresh and enjoy a flavorful change that you created in your own kitchen in just minutes. So I use a hand whisk that's electric. I've already pre-measured. I'm going to use, just for demonstration today, I would normally use a little larger quantity because my bottle will hold it, but we're gonna add, oops, I did it backwards. Let's go back, back. I pick up the bigger one first. It won't hurt it to have this little bit, but I guess it's a good thing I've got napkin, and we'll take out the olive oil here because we want the olive oil to go in last. It's going to get emulsified with the vinegar. So here is a half a cup of balsamic vinegar. You're going to do 1 cup to 1/2 cup. Your larger is going to be your oil. Now to that, I'm going to add some stone ground mustard. If you want to measure, 1 to 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to squeeze it in because I like that kick that it gives it. And I'm almost out, so I'm going to use the rest of that in here. And we're good there. And then I said we're going to give it a little bit of natural liquid flavorings. So I use these because they are from plants and they last a long time and they are very potent. So this is a rosemary. I'm going to use 1 drop of rosemary. Well, I think I got 2 in there. And that is going to give me the equivalent of 2 teaspoons of dried product. So it's a lot more economical too. 1 drop of lemon, which is going to give it the flavor of a lemon zest, brighten it all up. We're going to do 1 drop of oregano. Come on, oregano. There we go. And then we're going to do 1 drop of black pepper. So concentrated, you only need such a little bit. And now we're going to stir this up. And if you don't have one of these, they are awesome. You can get a lot of different brands. I got this one online. It's the OXA Smart, and it has lots of different speeds. I'm going to turn this one down a little bit so I don't splatter myself all over. And here we go. I'm just gonna put my hand around the top to keep it, again, from splattering out. Gonna mix nice and quickly. Now we've got that mustard mixed in, and we've got the essential oils mixed in, and now I'm going to take my olive oil, and at the same time as this is where I might get messy, I'm going to pour in my olive oil while I'm blending. This is to emulsify the vinegar and the olive oil together, and if you do it after you put in the vinegar and the other seasonings and add the olive oil last with blending it or whisking it, you're going to keep it emulsified so that it doesn't separate in the refrigerator. So here we go. Just pouring in small little amounts at a time, and I just keep it going. You can see hopefully that the smallest amount that I'm putting in there. Take my hand and put it over with a little bit of extra. I'm used to doing it without a camera. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more at a time. Keep it going. You don't have to do it real slow, but you just don't want to pour the whole thing in at once. And I'm being careful here, watching that it doesn't go out the other side, hitting that blade. You could also do this in your blender. I just prefer the cleanup from it in this. And we are almost down to about 1/4 of a cup. Nice good blend here, and then what I'm going to do is recycle or upcycle. I don't like to waste. I don't like to waste money. I don't like to waste ingredients, and certainly not a good glass bottle. So I'm just upcycling this bottle. I have a funnel, and as you can see, we've got a nice creamy brown color, and we didn't have to put any artificial colorings in there. We already had that from our ingredients. And now we're going to pour it in with the funnel, and it's going to thicken while it's in the refrigerator. So I tend to take it out about 10 minutes before I'm going to serve, and then it's just going to need a gentle shake to bring all those ingredients together. And voila, we now have a bottle of salad dressing that probably costs us less than $1.50 to make. And it's going to stay sealed. I've got a nice airtight seal, and just, again, shake it before using it, and that's delicious. Oh yeah, love it. Okay, thanks for joining me today. Hope you learned something, and I will be hosting another Cooking with Oils class online. If you're interested in getting the date, let me know, and I'll pop you over the information. Talk to you soon. Bye.